of the best things each of us can do is to remember how big and how magical we each are and not give our power away, right? Like, I think the less we can be attached to physical things, the better we'll move through this, the better we'll flow. So, if you find yourself as someone right now that's really connected to what clothes you wear, what purse you have, what car you drive, what your house looks like, this could be a bit more challenging of a chapter ahead because I think a lot of what we'll be dismantling are the different systems and things that we have come to rely upon. And so, the more that you can be self reliant, the more that you can just be happy in your own skin with your own life, the better you'll move through this, the better you'll dance through this. Because Spirit's showing me right now this this conductor in front of an orchestra, and sometimes a piece of orchestra music will start off like really faint and it'll, be pretty gentle. And then before you know it, you see the conductor up on stage and they're just like, you know, they're going for it like full speed ahead. We are going into that part of the song. But the good news is after we get through that like ferocious part of the piece of music, it starts to come back down and weave that new story that takes us into that next chapter of the song, of the story, of the orchestra as a whole. So there's a lot of different things that'll be changing because I think it's actually going to touch almost every part of our life that we know it today. I think one of the big factors will be the rise of technology and artificial intelligence. I don't think it's going to be all good. I don't think it's going to be all bad. I think there's going to be advancements with healthcare and curing different diseases and ailments that will really amplify a lot of light here on planet Earth. Um, I also get a lot of downloads about jobs, probably because I've owned different companies and I love talking about business. But they have shown me over and over again that a lot of people that are alive right now that are, maybe they're graduating from high school, maybe they're in college, or they're in their career, that the job and career path they thought they'd have is not what's actually going to be available to them in the future because artificial intelligence and different technologies will become so prevalent and a big part of our everyday life that it will fundamentally change the way that we work and the different jobs that are available. So, as I'm saying that, I'm hearing Spirit say in my ear, it's going to ask people to consider, why am I here? What is my purpose? It's going to get us away from the mindset of, when you go into like an event, a networking event, or maybe a charity event or a gala, and you walk in and somebody comes up to you that you don't know, and they're like, "Oh, hi, what's your name? Oh, well, what do you do for a living? Where do you work?" And that's not going to be part of our future. I do think we're going to be doing telepathy back and forth with each other, and somebody in the United States can talk to somebody in Australia just through telepathy, and we're already doing it right now, but it's going to become more mainstream in the conversation. But the less you can attach yourself to what your job is, or that your job is your identity, I think you'll move through this a little bit easier. I do think money is going to change. I've called it the death of the dollar for the United States because the dollar feels energetically very flat, as if it has no value in the future. And I do think that's going to end up parlaying into some kind of digital currency system. And when I was channeling recently, they were showing me that the digital system is connected between all different kinds of countries. And so it doesn't feel like it's going to be the US dollar. There's some kind of like hub or network that connects a variety of currencies together, which I think will be really great. But I do think there's going to be some hesitation from a lot of people on entering that digital system and what that means, because artificial intelligence does feel like it'll be integrated with a digital currency system. And so some people will not want to necessarily have their eye scanned to be able to have access to their money. And so then what does that look like? It feels like people won't necessarily be able to live off the grid so much anymore because it'll be so integrated in everything that we do. And even with something like real estate, I get the sense that there'll be even more multi-generational families living together in one home, even becoming more popularized that adults are living together in the same home. So it feels like there's going to be a real crunch coming in with real estate, and not so much that we couldn't build a house, but I feel it more on the end of who can afford the home. So it feels like there's even more restrictions coming around that. And it wouldn't surprise me with everything happening in the world with different countries in war with each other, that I believe that we're going to be seeing more military on streets that we normally wouldn't see military there. So that becomes more like popularized of it, let's say you're in the United States, just seeing more of like a National Guard on the streets, or pulling different military in to have different presence in places as war continues to escalate. Because I do think over the next 7 years, that's when we're going to see like night and day difference between where we're at now and what we're moving into. And I think by the time we get to like the early 2030s, we might feel like we have embodied a different suit here on planet Earth, and that we're just vibrating at a very different frequency. One thing that Spirit's reminding me of now, they've shown me this vision of people like standing and looking up to the sky with their hands up, almost questioning like, where am I? Who am I? Where is this? So I do think there's going to be more communication and integration with different galactic beings, and that will become more of our everyday conversation. But with that, I do think it's going to create initially some big polarization and potential revolutionary energy around organized religion and what is true. And it doesn't have to be this or that, it can be this and that. And so just noticing that our story around God and the universe could be shifting a bit. Some people might lean into the revelations we have about galactic beings, but maybe they've been, really interested in organized religion or attending church regularly. Like, how does one believe in organized religion, God, and galactic beings all at once? So I think it can be a lot of different things that are true. But I think initially it could send a lot of people into fear or some kind of spiral, feeling like, was I lied to, or what is this about? The religion I've been, going to church for every Sunday for my whole life, and now you're telling me there's aliens. Like, so there could be this identity crisis that creates a lot of volatility in different societies, and people come to the realization that it's bigger than just humans on Earth. So it'll be interesting to watch. What a time to be alive.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.